Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with a new book tag. So this one is called The Big Book Tag, and I will link the creator's video down below so you can go check it out. But this one is pretty straightforward. It's not really that much to explain. So first of all, I'm supposed to share with you guys 5 big books that I have read, and then after that I'm supposed to mention 2 big books that I have not read yet. So, you know, it's a lot of big books. But let's start with those 5 that I have read. So one of them is Nyckeln by Mats Strandberg and Sara Bergmark Elfgren. This is book 3 in Engelsfors-trilogin. I really love this series, by the way, so you should check it out if you want to. They do have it in English too these days. But this one consists of 813 pages, and it's pretty darn huge. And when I read this one lots and lots of years ago, it was definitely one of the biggest books I had read, except Harry Potter, so you know, I felt pretty good about it. And then we also have The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This consists out of 763 pages. This is book 2 in the Mistborn trilogy. So I mean, this entire trilogy is pretty darn big, but you know, this will have to represent both book 2 and book 1, which I have read, so pretty darn huge. I actually have the thickest book of them all, and that is A Dance with Dragons by George R. R. Martin. This is the 5th book in A Song of Ice and Fire, you know, Game of Thrones. This is the last one that is out at this point, and I have no idea when book 6 is coming out. Nobody knows. But this book is 1,117 pages. So it took me quite a while to read it, because at this point I was kind of, you know, afraid of big books, and after having read this one, I was more afraid. So this is huge, definitely worth the read, I have to say, but it's enormous, so I understand if you haven't read it. And then the 4th book of huge books that I have read is Harry Potter och Fenixorden by J.K. Rowling. So this is the 5th book in Harry Potter series, so it's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And maybe you're wondering why I chose to take the Swedish edition rather than the UK or the US one. That's because when it's in English, it's pretty much like 800 pages or something like that. But when it's translated into Swedish, it's actually longer. So this one is 1,001 pages. So it's pretty darn book. So it's pretty darn big, and I mean, this book definitely has been read a lot because, I mean, it's kind of broken and I've taped it, so, you know, it has been well loved, even though this is like some terrible shit happens in this book, and I feel like this is going to break completely soon, so I mean, but yeah, it's a very big book. I'll come to the 5th book that I have read, and that is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is one of my favorite series as well, and this is the 2nd book in the Illuminae files. This series is actually finished at this point, so you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. This book consists of 659 pages, so one of the smaller of these books I've mentioned, but still pretty darn big. So these were the 5 books I mentioned. If you haven't read these books and the series that they are connected to, you should definitely do that, because all of these books I really enjoyed, actually loved, so you should definitely give them a chance. Come to 2 books on my TBR that are really big that I have not read yet. Admittedly, these are not the biggest books I have, but since I don't want to mention the same series over and over again, I chose to mention something else than from my read books that I mentioned earlier. So the first book is The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. This is a book I have not read yet, obviously, and I haven't actually read anything by Brent Weeks before either, so I don't really know what to expect. This book contains 735 pages. It's pretty darn huge and not very floppy, but I can always do that sound. And then we have a book that I think a lot of people have read by now, and you know, I can't yet, and I'll explain why. So that is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is book 1 in The Dark Artifices. I think book 3 is supposed to come out in December of this year. So this book contains 669 pages. But before you're supposed to read this one, you're supposed to finish, you know, the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices. I have started both of those series, but I have not finished it, which is why I haven't read this one. But also because this one kind of scared me because it's so big and it's like huge pages as well. But now I have actually started to read so many big books, even though I had not a lot of choosing from this one for this video, but I've really started to get into it. So I do feel like I will be reading these two books very soon. This one I will definitely read this year. This one I'm definitely going to try really hard to get to, but I have a couple of series I have to finish one before that, obviously. But yeah, those are the two books I'm planning to read. That kind of terrifies me. But yeah, if you have read any big books, please let me know down in the comments what those were, and in that case, how many pages were they, and also which big books are you planning to read in the near future, or you know, in the future, because big books are scary. But yeah, if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other next time. Bye!